Thank you for coming on the Elvis and Friends show with us.
Ron, it's a pleasure talking to you.
The Elvis on Tour movie. Now, that is set for a major one-night theater release, correct? July 29th.
July 29th, this coming Thursday night. Almost 500 feature film theaters around the country, which is a pretty unique thing for a remastered new DVD and or Blu-ray.
I was going to ask you, what is the hook here? What is the different thing about this Elvis on Tour versus what we saw back in '72 in the theaters and the drive-ins and all?
The quality. You know, there's been so much technology in the, I guess it's almost 40 years now, Ron. And this was one of the few that the fans have wanted to see in new technology. It just never was on DVD, let alone Blu-ray.
Wow.
And we did something special on this particular evening as well. We did an interview with Priscilla Presley that will be the beginning of a 20-minute documentary about the documentary. I'm interviewed about the documentary, the making of the documentary, and we have 3 of the other filmmakers and researchers who worked on the original Elvis on Tour. So that will precede the screening of the new remastered Elvis on Tour print.
Great. I understand there is additional footage in this that we never saw before. Is that correct?
That's correct. There is some additional footage, and I have not seen the new version of Elvis on Tour yet, but my understanding is there is some new footage.
Wow.
And working on it, Ron, I was an apprentice film editor in the beginning, and I was able, by the end of the post-production, to actually do my first editing work, which was the end credits. But I had to start out coding all the film, putting the little numbers on it for the editors. There is so much outtakes. There was so much film shot on this.
Would that be stuff backstage with him and on stage as well?
That's correct. The interesting thing, all the fans and the public, we kind of know what Elvis did on stage, but what I find fascinating is what does he do before he goes on stage?
Exactly.
And this is the only time that he was opened up to it, and you'll see us backstage and the nervousness. I mean, I see Elvis pacing around. I had no idea. It's just a real nervous energy, and he didn't like to get to a venue early because he told me, so I'm like Muhammad Ali. When Muhammad tapes his hands, he's burning energy. And he goes, when I put on my wardrobe, from that moment on, I'm only thinking show, and I'm using energy.
I remember reading about that Elvis had said to a couple of promoters along the way that don't even worry about a dressing room for me because when I show up at the gig, I'm already dressed and ready to hit the stage.
That is absolutely true.
When Elvis came to do a gig, I guess he came ready to work, not to party. He would party at another time, but now, tonight, I'm here to work.
He's there to work, and his party was when he was on stage. He was such a natural guy, but he, as an entertainer, but he was also such a, he had all kinds of tricks. He used everything. I mean, he knew how to be a star.